Hello everybody. Today is a very special day because today we are reviewing Resident Evil Requiem, and I just have to say, man, was this an awesome fucking game. 10 out of 10. Capcom Nakanishi knocked it out of the fucking park with this one. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a perfect Resident Evil game in oh my god, in a while, in my opinion. Holy crap. This is not counting the remakes. 7 was great. It is not my number 1 now. It is my number 2. Requiem knocked it out of the park by being my number 1. Because holy crap, this game had a lot to offer, and it was just amazing to witness. This is going to be a short review. It's also going to be spoilers. You're going to see gameplay throughout the whole game of the big moments that happened and the big reveals. I have plenty more videos coming out after this. I'm going to go over all 4 of the main areas in the game, give them dissections, what I thought about them, how they were great. And in this video, I'm going to briefly touch upon those. I'm going to go over the characters, go over the enemies, the boss fights, the ending, because oh my god, I think this ending is going to help us get to Resident Evil 10, and oh my goodness, this was an emotional roller coaster, I will say that. Where do we even start? Let's start with the characters of Leon and Grace. Grace Ashcroft is probably one of the best new protagonists or recent protagonists to be explored in a Resident Evil game, because she is just giving the best scary vibes ever. She's acting like an actual scared person, and her voice actor knows what the fuck she is doing with how she is directed. The amount of scares you get in this game and how scary Grace can be, or not how scary she can be, but how scared she gets from everything in the care center and after. It's just, she's an amazing protagonist. She is now one of my new favorites in the game. Leon was great in this game. His journey just keeps getting more and more stronger and better throughout the playthrough, but when you hit the end, you are like, what the hell? Like, you're starting to worry for him. We'll talk about the ending at the end of the video, but Leon just has the best action he has had since 4, and it just gets better. The axe is amazing. The weapons he gets are amazing. Just the takedowns, like you saw with the chainsaw at the beginning, but like, oh my goodness. Just Leon and Grace were amazing in this game. Top tier characters. I'm glad Leon was put in this game and not wasted. Next, we're gonna talk about enemies. The zombies in this game are really good. I like how they have the personalities. It's up to 100 different personalities from what we were told, and they all work well. And the blister heads, they are ruthless. They are just like the Crimson Heads from Remake 1, but I would say they are more stronger. They are faster. They will hit you as hard as they can, and they will kill you. They are fucking strong as hell, but they are an amazing enemy design. Next, let's talk about Chunk. Chunk is an interesting one. If you actually, there is a file that is related to him. He also has a brother that you fight as Leon. With Chunk, his lore is that he gets bullied a lot. He doesn't like when people bully him. You hear it in his dialogue, and he just doesn't tolerate it. He goes after people that bully him or thinks that is laughing at him. But with his brother, he has the desire for human flesh. He don't give a fuck. He will chase you down in that little attic area where you are fighting him just to eat you. He does not care. Chunk doesn't eat people, but he will kill you if he has to. But his brother you'll see him eating a corpse before you encounter him, and oh my god, these guys were just... You have to sneak past them if you want to really get away from them or get to a new area, because they will block areas they need to get to, and you can't kill them which is really cool. I do like that, but it is hard. You need at least 3 of the purple injectors, or you need to use a couple of the Requiem shots. They are tough to beat, and they are basically mini bosses. But yes, Chunk and his brother are really good. I think they are an outstanding enemy in the game. Let's talk about the chef. The chef is pretty good too. He takes at least 1 purple injector to kill, and at least I would say 2 to 3 Requiem shots. He has a secret pantry key that gets you a few items, even a couple of charms. 1 for Grace, 1 for Leon. Yeah, the chef is pretty cool. I like him. He's a good mini boss. There's a lot of mini bosses, but there's also a lot of actual bosses. Like the big boss. Let's talk about the stalker enemy, the girl, aka Marie. There is lore tied to her. There's a lot, especially with the little girl you meet in this game. I will not talk about that a lot in this video because it's just a review. I'll talk about that in a lore kind of breakdown video if I do that. But Marie, aka the girl, is very fucking creepy. I would say she's the creepiest part in this game, because you're just having to when you encounter her the first time, we've seen it through the demo, you're having to run and hide and crouch away from her, which is great. And you think Leon kills her, but no, the next time you see her is when you're going down into the basement for the care center, because she kidnaps Emily, the little girl that you actually free in this game and you help escape with, because she does help you get through a puzzle that leads you outside of the care center. But Marie kidnaps her because Marie and Emily are actually sisters, aka friends, and the reason why Marie looks like that is because that's one of the final mutations of the little girls. And those little girls are clones of Grace because Victor was trying to get a perfect representation of Grace to get Elpis. But they got the original copies, so they didn't care for the rest, so they were just going to kill them. But they have cloned her a lot. They have made so many copies of Grace to where it's just insane. But you only really encounter 2 of them. And Emily is a great character. She is probably one of the best that helps you out, in my opinion. And her story in this game is really sad. And when you realize how important she is, even at the very end, she becomes a good, important character. And you really feel sad for her in this game, because basically you're just going through the care center trying to help her escape and stuff. You get out of the care center, you go through this little bunker room to get a key for a helicopter, and in that time, Emily is starting to feel a little weak. She's starting to feel like she's about to pass out or something, and you get a hint to that through her dialogue, because Grace is calling her name twice, and she's asking if she's alright, and Emily's like, I don't know. But you get to the helicopter, it crashes, and Emily's injured. She's injured in this, her stomach is injured, and it's sad, because when you get through the Leon section of helping Grace escape, and you go back down basically into a new basement area to get back outside, this is when you defeat the hag, aka Marie. You kill her. When you enter the big area, you will set Emily down to make sure she is safe. Then you will kill Marie by literally melting her to a pile of goo with a hatch they open that leads to outside. You get back to Marie. She basically dies, and then Grace helps. Basically tries to bring her back to life by doing CPR, which she's very good at, which makes sense. She's an FBI agent. But Emily comes back to life, but she mutates into this giant baby thing. And Leon just comes in and kills her. And I will not lie to you, this part I cried for a good 3 or 5 minutes because of how sad it was seeing a little girl who is just just an innocent thing that Grace is trying to help escape the whole thing because she doesn't want any more regrets. She wants to help people and not make any more mistakes, but Grace ends up failing, and it just becomes really sad. A little girl that you're just trying to help, and you start to care for her a little bit and like trying to help her out, and ends up dying because she mutates and Leon has to put her down. But at the very end of the game, Leon reveals that he did not hit any of her vitals, so she has a chance of living, and you get to see fucking helicopters and people going back to the care center and back to where Emily was, and it reveals that Emily was just in a cocoon of the mutated baby, so she was just stuck inside there as, her regular form, and she ends up getting cured. She's also blind, she can't see, so she gets cured from the infection that she had that could have killed her, and she's able to see. So, and then Grace adopts her as her own, which is a very cute and good ending. I cried at that part too, because I was like, man, this ending's really good. But that's Emily and Marie's whole thing. This, oh my god, it was an emotional roller coaster. And we're going to talk about Raccoon City, because oh my god, what you're seeing is some Raccoon City footage and stuff. So much fucking nostalgia came through here. The first half of Raccoon City, I will say, is a little bit of a letdown, but I am glad we are able to explore Raccoon City itself and not just the RPD. We're able to see a lot of Raccoon City that we have never explored before. And we're encountering a giant spider at the very start of the Raccoon City section. And I would say the part that dragged this part a lot before RPD was just collecting these detonator parts that helped you explode this gate that gets you to that gets you to the RPD. That part took so long, and it drags out, and and the enemies you have to get through, you're going through normal zombies, and you're going through BSAA zombies. The BSAA is back, and they were trying to find Elpis themselves, which is just crazy. Like, why is everyone going for Elpis? We have Victor, we had the BSAA, we have Leon. Leon is also trying to figure out what Elpis is. And it's actually underneath Raccoon City. It's in this new lab called ARC. It is the main laboratory of Umbrella and Raccoon City. So we've been through Nest. We've been through Nest 2 within RE2 and RE3. And now we're in ARC. ARC revealed a lot. And I will get into that after I talk about the RPD section. RPD was just so fucking memorable. I could not be more happy with how they did RPD. Right when you open those doors, you're getting flashbacks to Marvin in RE2 Remake, and that's what they used. They used RE2 Remake as flashbacks. I'm glad they do that, because that is really good. But and there's a lot to explore in the RPD. You can actually go through a good amount of rooms and see the outcome of what happened. And everything that you interact with in RPD, Leon gets a little word out. Like, you see the welcome Leon sign, and he's just looking at like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm back here. I'm glad we got to see the welcome sign. There's also Marvin's name tag on his desk. When you click on that, Leon is saying, "Hey, Lieutenant Branagh, Kennedy reporting for duty," like he's back for a job. And it's really cool. It's just really cool. You get to fight a fucking tyrant in this game. Right when you're exiting RPD, a tyrant just bursts through, and boom, you're fighting a Tyrant 2.0, and it is awesome. It brought back so much. And oh my goodness, there is a new character that gets a little wasted, but I would say he was a pretty cool addition. So Victor is the main villain. He is the final boss. What you're seeing right here, you're seeing the final boss of Victor. he is the final boss to this game, and I think it was actually pretty good. I was a little surprised he was, considering my theory. But there's another main villain in here that you don't fight, but he is wasted. His name is Zeno. He is literally a Wesker clone, because he has the same powers, the same hair, the same face, the voice is the same. Bro's wearing the glasses. He also has the Elpis infection, or not the Elpis infection, he has the T-virus infection, which is what Leon and Sherry have. Yes, Sherry is in this game. That is the person talking to Leon over the comms, and that's really cool. But when you get to the end of this game, after you find out what Arc was and all that, Elpis is nothing that you would think of. They never needed Grace to figure out Elpis. Elpis was never a key to open through Grace. It was just a simple word, hope, because Spencer had a little bit of a redemption arc in this game by being the stepfather of Grace and saying that he is her hope, in that he has guilt over what he has done with Umbrella in Raccoon City, and he feels bad for what he did. So he found Grace abandoned and adopts her and sees her as his hope to building a greater world or having greatness in his life. And then as he knows he's gonna die, so he's also interviewing Alyssa as he introduces Grace to her, and he gives Grace to Alyssa to adopt. So Alyssa is Grace's stepmom, but they never needed Grace for Elpis. And there are two endings. There's one where you kill Leon, you destroy Elpis. That is just an extended death. It's not a real ending. But the real ending is you basically you release Elpis with the word hope, because they use that in a cutscene that reveals Spencer and Alyssa. And then basically Zeno takes a shot of Elpis, his powers go away, Victor comes in and just chops his head off with his tentacle arm, and then he takes one for himself. Graves gives Elpis to Leon, curing him, and then Leon just takes Victor down like it's nothing, and Victor turns into Nemesis 2.0, and right here, as you see, Leon is just not giving a fuck, knocking the fuck out of Victor, killing him, and this puts an end to the Umbrella story, leaving a lot closed off, and just a lot of questions have been answered. Best Resident Evil game I have ever played, with an amazing story, amazing characters, amazing enemies, and fights. But yeah, this game was just amazing. This is afterwards me. I had to edit a few more clips in here because there was some more things I wanted to show. But and I wanted to talk about a few more things. The very end, there's a post-credit scene of two hunk soldiers, if they are hunks, but they are basically telling someone that the BSAA leftovers are done for and gone, and that sorry, I'm trying to remember, but they are in the ruins of what happened between Victor and Leon, and there is something left behind that they pick up. We don't know what that is, but they're talking to someone saying, hey, we found the thing before the wolves could get it, because Chris's squad comes in last minute to save Leon and Grace. We do not see Chris, but we do get a mention that he had known about this thing going down, and he came to rescue Leon and Grace. And they do talk about, like, oh, where's Chris now? And Leon's like, I don't know, but hopefully I see him soon so I could talk to him. This leads me to believe that Resident Evil 10 will be Chris's game, and maybe it could be Rose. So it could be like it could be like this game where it's Leon and Grace. Grace is horror, Leon is action. But in 10, they could do Chris is action and Rose is horror. But they kind of limit her powers a little bit because she does have, or wait, no, they wouldn't limit her powers because this 10 would be taking place probably in 2029 because that's where, because in 2026 that's where Requiem takes place. So if they're doing release timeline, then 10 would be taking place in 2029 because apparently from leaks, that's when Resident Evil 10 is coming out. So Rose would be a few more years older. She would probably be like, I would say 10, maybe 9 years old, or somewhere between that. Somewhere we're in that age. She won't be close to how old she is in 2037. Give it about 8 more years. But she'd be about 8 or 9 years old, so she'd still be learning things. I don't know. Could us playing as an 8-year-old, 9-year-old Rose work, or would we have Jill in Chris game? Jill comes back and Chris is there too. And they're trying to uncover the whole BSA thing from Village and the whole Hunk in BSA thing in this game to finally finish that stuff off and go somewhere new. Because yes, Requiem does go somewhere new. We do finish off the Umbrella story, but they also mention the connections because Victor and Zeno were part of the connections. Victor was, I believe, how they are saying is he is basically the leader of the connections, and also in Spencer's office that you are going into before you get to Leon to save him, there is a portrait of Mother Miranda above Spencer's desk. So they do tie in the connections into this game that has to tie Village in and 7 in more to make them actually part of the story, which makes sense because we had that one file in Village that talked about how Spencer got the idea for Umbrella, how he met Miranda and all that. So this kind of also ties that in, so it connects way more than just that one file. Victor was part of the connections, so was Zeno, all that. The connections worked through the Grace clones and all that, funded all this stuff. But yeah, this story is just amazing. This game was amazing. Gameplay was amazing between horror and action. The care center was huge to explore. Raccoon City was I would say RPD was my favorite part in this game. Arc was another amazing part. We had Lickers come back through that section. So the enemies we had gotten were zombies, RPD zombies, big enemies in the care center. We had a giant spider. We had a tyrant. We had Lickers. We had Victor. We had a lot of enemies and a couple of old ones returning, which were amazing to see. The Ivy even came back. I showed you guys a boss fight of that. The Plant 43 is back, in which is basically the Ivy, which is from Resident Evil 1's mansion, which is really cool. But overall, 10 out of 10 game. This is my number one Resident Evil game now, and I could not be more happier. And I am excited for what Capcom cooks up next. It's probably in the remake line. Apparently, Code Veronica is rumored to be coming out next year. We will find out later this year because apparently there's going to be a new game announcement for the 30th. But, I'm just going to let the rest of this boss fight play out. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I will see you guys in my next Resident Evil Requiem video. And bye.